Storm. We'll jump back to our reflectivity and to show you a couple of things. This is that latest scan that's came on in. What we're seeing here is our winds are picking up into the storm here just to the west of Charleston. We're looking at the Lerna, seeing where that heavy rain coming down. Mattoon starting to clear. Give us a few more minutes. We know the Mattoon zip code rather large if you're in Mattoon proper, west of 57. I think we're close to giving you the all clear here. Lakeland College sits down here. There's Paradise, Lake Paradise area. And as the storm moves off to these, primarily now the concern east of the city of Mattoon. We do have the camera, Jack, in Mattoon as well as in Charleston. I think we may want to just check on those for a little bit. I know in Max 2 that camera is set to Mattoon. We can also look at Charleston. I think the one in Charleston looks to the north, so we won't get a direct view into the storm here, but we'll show you that here in a second. But again, this is that warning area, primarily the Coles County issue for us here in central Illinois. Let's take a little look at some of these other storms. This storm here in northeastern Christian County has my eye. What you see is that little hook shape here. There's just a little bit of wind shear in the atmosphere on a day like today that allows for some of these storms to exhibit weak rotation, and sometimes they can take advantage of that instability, get that mid-level rotation going a little more, and start exhibiting some signs of stronger rotation. Early in the game for the storm west of Mowicko, about 5 miles here. Mowicko getting some rain. Southern Macon County on the Christian Macon-Shelby County line corner there getting some rain showers. We'll be watching that storm closely. And I think that's about it as far as storms that I'm initially concerned of here. We'll jump back to that Christian County storm and just show you real fast. Not nearly as evident of a signature there, but it's definitely seeing some of these reds in here with some greens mixing around. So we'll be watching for our friends in Mowicko, northern Shelby County, southern Macon County as well. But primarily, I think you can see it pretty well here where that greens and that reds are touching. Green and red on velocity. Green going towards, red going away. There's that circulation now here just right south and east of Coles County Airport, south and east of Sarah Bush Medical Center. Jack, you've been watching things talking about the severe threat today. I think at this point, Jack, we can give an all clear for the city of Mattoon west of Interstate 57. Still, if you live east of Interstate 57, I'd like you to stay in your shelter a little bit. Right now, I think the call to action primarily for Charleston of the greatest concern with this storm. I'll pull up our correlation coefficient, our debris detector. I don't see anything imminent there that shows me that anything is being lofted into the air. Normally, we'd look for a dark blue spot somewhere if we were seeing debris. We had some of that last Saturday. That little tornado near Fisher, we didn't get that, Jack. But this storm definitely showing some signs of rotation. The wind as well, and going to be a concern, and definitely some heavy rain in Coles County, Jack, as we watch it there. Again, you're looking at that same storm I am. Jack, keep telling us more of what you're seeing.
Yep. So we've got, like we've been talking about here, that a lot of the storm action now is going to be to the east of I-57. So if you are in the Mattoon area, kind of on the west side of 57, at that point now we're looking at kind of that notch to be moving more towards the Charleston proper area. Now, we've been calling for today, there is a slight risk in severe weather for today, for mainly high winds. High winds is going to be more of the focal point for today. That being said, the tornado threat was not zero, and it does kind of make sense. What we have right now is what we call a northwest flow pattern. And so what we have is not necessarily an exact cold front that comes down from the northwest, but in the summertime, when cool air does come in from the northwest and it hits the very humid and muggy air that we have out there today, and what that will do is creates a boundary for these storms to form along. And storms like to form along boundaries, and as they ride along those boundaries, they sometimes are able to exhibit some rotation, and that's what we have picked up here with it. Like I've said, we have this warning that is going to last for a little bit here. It goes until 2:30. The reason being is that this warning, or this storm, is moving pretty slow at around 25 miles an hour off to the northwest. And so it really is going to be a heavy rainmaker as well. Hail has not really been much of a factor with this. In fact, you can even see there on the hail size within the box itself, it comes in at under 3/4 of an inch, so below severe criteria. But we'll put another track on that to give you guys a better idea about our timing. I'm going to start just slightly west of Charleston and continue on that way. It's about 25 miles an hour, give or take, off to the northeast. So Charleston, 2:06, you've got about 10 minutes, if not a little bit sooner than that. Ashmore, 2:25, Kansas, 2:36, Borton at 2:43, and Redmond at 2:49. These are just some of the storms that I picked up within this this kind of cone there for our timing. So if you live nearby those areas, also want to be sure that you're in your safe spot as well. This storm has, in addition to just the rotation with it, it also does have some gusty winds. And with these gusty winds, you can tell that's the case because of some of the darker or the lighter colors, I should say, with these with this. Now, as of right now, the overall look of our rotation is not exactly all that there. It's very broad rotation, so we might be showing signs of weakening. In fact, what I can do is kind of back up a little bit more and show you that it looked a little bit more promising a little earlier on. You've got some of those brighter colors earlier on this afternoon when those were maybe producing some gustier winds. There's our rotation right there that picked up on it, and so now it's not exactly all that impressive anymore, but it is still there. You do have the greens and the reds touching each other in a way that still shows that there could be some circulations that are possible. We don't have any other warnings as of this time. Do we have a... Looks like you updated a graphic, Jacob.
Not quite yet.
Oh, not quite. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
just working on some stuff here. So go ahead and keep
Yep.
doing what you're doing.
I was just saying,
I'm
like, I'm pretty sure we don't have any other watches at this point either. It is just a tornado warning, and that is it. Like we've been talking about, if you maybe even saw on social media beforehand, the chance for funnel clouds is already possible today due to the fact that we have some of the spin in our atmosphere. And here's our view from Mattoon. Now, this will be looking west from Mattoon, and you can already start to see some of the skies turning a bit more bright in the background. And so the storm at this point now is pretty much past a majority of the Mattoon area, at least in terms of the portion that we're worried about severe weather-wise. But now the Charleston area is kind of on the hook here. I'm going to pull up that Charleston camera really quickly. And
we may get a good vantage point of that here.
yeah, I'm going to try to see if I can get to that one really fast. So just hold on 1 second. It's going to stay here on Max 2. Appreciate you guys in the back working. And
while you're working on that, Jack, I'll just talk over you.
Sure, yep.
Keep doing your thing. Again, right now, I think we can give the city of Mattoon, west of Interstate 57, that all clear. East of it still, give us a little more time here. Loxa, Lerna, Charleston, Hutton. Downstream then to the east on Illinois 16, you get to Ashmore, eventually Kansas, and to Edgar County. We don't have any warning for there yet, but there you go, Jack. That's a great vantage point looking to the north there. We'll be interested in the left part of that screen, I think, on the program.
yeah, that'll be the left side of the screen will be the spot that what to look out for. You know, we were kind of looking at today to be kind of an interesting weather day with our potential for some severe weather. Here's another look at our wide view of our storm tracker Doppler. The only warning that we have is just the one there for Coles County. It's not where the only storms are, though. Jacob has also been highlighting some other storms in the region here. I'll go off to our west really quickly. Probably our main concern is the cluster of storms approaching the Illinois River, and that's the one that might fire off a few more warnings here and there as we go into the afternoon, should it hold together. The air that it's going into is not very worked over, and there is going to be a lot of moisture and humidity to work with. A few more additional cells have popped up, but they've now moved off into Indiana. Most of the storm activity really is south of I-72 as of right now, and I-74. The south side of Decatur probably is getting pretty wet right now too, and that storm right there near the Moweaqua area, that's the one that maybe also might try to get a little bit more of a notch to it at some point. But even also in Shelby County behind the storm, we have a few more of them right over Shelbyville itself. But a lot of lightning with these storms. Jacob, and I'm not sure if you got anything new over there with you.
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit big picture and give you a chance, Jack, to check social. We know our producers in the back are also looking at that here, so we can go ahead and bring camera 2 up. Again, just one warning. That's it, Coles County. We're watching closely a couple of these storms. But as you had that radar loop, Jack, you could almost see some of the spin in this little system right here.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get that locally produced spin in spots, and that's an area that we were watching. Then we just happen to get one of these pop up here ahead of it, take advantage of things. So we're watching everywhere, but we're talking primarily about Coles County. Another view in radar scope here. Right now, the city of Charleston definitely in the greatest concern. I don't know if we have the ability. I'd like to see if we can't double box that Charleston camera at some point here, and if we need to, we can grab a producer from the back that can script that in. So that's something eventually we'd like to do, and we'll check that, Jack. I know you're going to watch that closely too, as that storm now moving into the city of Charleston. Still some heavy rain over Lakeland College, Lake Paradise to the north of Neoga, along and north of Lake Mattoon there, moving off to the east. But that's the one warning till 2:30. The National Weather Service hasn't given us any new information about any reports or anything. We're watching our digital. You can stream us on our digital platforms, Facebook especially. If you're in that area, let us know what you're seeing. I'm certain that the sirens have been going off in Coles County, and we've probably got got some viewers that are commenting there as well. So Jack also watching that here as we keep an eye on things with the digital, any reports and things like that. But this tornado warning continues for another about 27 minutes,
yeah.
It looks like here. Although I suspect that either we're going to get an extension or it will be dropped as the storm, in my mind, maybe picking up a little quicker than 25 miles an hour, sitting over Charleston now. But we'll keep here until we at least have an all clear for the immediate future for that area. Still interested in that storm near Moweaqua. If there's anyone in Moweaqua area looking to the west, no warning, but it just has that look that makes me a little suspicious. And even if we're not getting a tornadic circulation, maybe the chance would be for one of those funnel clouds that we've been dealing with here for the last week plus. And so any reports from that area would be greatly appreciated. Again, you can check on our Facebook page. Let us know if you're seeing anything there. We'll take a reminder here again. Watches, we have no watches in effect at this point. We may get one later on this afternoon. The greatest severe threat seems to be 3 till 9. It's still low. It's not 0, but we'll expect that. That's the area where the National Weather Service let us know funnel clouds are possible. That did include Coles County. We put that on our social media and sent that out on our WCIA3 weather app at about 12:45 or so, a little before that. So we had an extra heads up here. That will continue into the afternoon. Looks like they're also highlighting out here in western Illinois. So we may see an extension of that with that complex of storms coming on in. As far as the risk today, everyone watching in a level 2 slight risk. Let's not worry about the edges here. We'll broad brush it for everyone here in central Illinois and say it's a level 2 slight, a standard risk, but we get storms like this today, and that sometimes can cause some issues. This is the tornado risk. I mentioned that on social media this morning as well. We're at a 2 out of 10. Think of Saturday, we were at a 1 out of 10. Cass County had all those problems here. Then, of course, was that Monday we had the Fisher tornado, Jack? I think that was, 1
Monday.
out of 10 as well. I'm not saying it's going to be twice as bad. This is a fairly objective, but also somewhat subjective thing here. A 2 out of 10 still low. 1 or 2 possible, and that may be what we have in Coles County here moving on forth. If you're in Coles County, of course, you've seen this graphic before. You know what to do. Under a tornado warning, proceed to your safe place. Mobile homes, not a great place to be here. Downstream, we want to talk to our friends in Edgar County, Ashmore, Kansas, maybe in the direction of Harris. If there's an extension of this, you've got time to get out of your mobile home and leave here. Again, we've got the camera on the left, Mattoon. If we can change camera 1 to Charleston real quick. And Jack, I see you have a photo also.
Yep.
We'll want to do that there. So that camera to the left, I'd like to get that to say Charleston instead of Mattoon. If you're in a car, no driving. Anyone Interstate 57 west, okay at this point. But to the east there on Illinois 16, there's that graphic, that picture we just saw there. It'll pop up in a second here. We'll get that taken care of. In, down, and up. Get inside, most interior room of your home, away from windows, away from outdoor walls. You want to be as interior as possible, getting down as low as you can, covering up, using a blanket, pillow, mattress, getting down to the basement, a crawl space, a low level of your home, maybe an interior closet or even a bathtub, a great place to be. And to have a little fun with the kids. Say, hey, we're going to put our bike helmets on. Of course, bike helmets, maybe a little lighter-hearted of a situation for that. But what happens is when there's tornadoes and severe weather, over 90% of all casualties happen from head trauma. Put a bike helmet on your head. It can save you from serious injuries if one hits your home. In addition, shoes. Put on some tennis shoes, and that way, if there's any debris, you're there. We'll give you the all clear. We've given the all clear to Mattoon. We're still working to the east and to eastern Coles County. Of course, you can watch our coverage online. We're streaming on digital, the app. We're also streaming on Facebook, Twitter. We're on YouTube, and we're streaming on the website. All of those places you can go. You can turn the volume up on your TV as well to get some more information. Worst place to be, again, we encourage no cars, mobile homes, or not even under a highway overpass. There's some highway overpasses there. That's a very bad place to be. That can actually accelerate the winds and make it even worse than it is. The best thing to do is head to the nearest convenience store, gas station, restaurant. They've got a safe place, and go there. Large open rooms or manufactured housing. There may be some people listening in a big box mart in that area. There's quite a few of those in Mattoon, Charleston. The inside part of that is not the greatest place to be. Sometimes they send you to the center of the room, that open span room. The winds hit, that roof can come down on you. Instead, the back room, the bathroom where customer service is, those are a much more secure place to be in case of a tornado strike on a big box mart. Of course, tornado shelter or a safe room, a great place to be, but interior room or basement of a well-built building, doing in, down, and up, all those things we tell you. 99% of the time, you'll be just fine then with that. And that's why we encourage you to take action when you've got this warning here. Again, reliable severe weather alerts. We're on TV. We're streaming on the website. Jack, I'll send it to you in a second. You probably got the wireless emergency alerts, that sound on your phone from Coles County. Outdoor sirens. if you're outside, that's a great, but not really the most reliable indoors. We instead also want to talk about that NOAA weather radio. It's gone off in Coles County. It's gone off a few times here. Jack, talk to us more about what you're seeing, and you've got a viewer picture too.
Yep.
And I'll check that Mattoon camera as we watch things here, continuing to monitor the severe threat, primarily at this point for Coles County.
Well, as of right now, the only pictures I've received have actually been outside the warning area, but still nonetheless relatively impressive, and a storm that potentially could give us a little bit of some trouble down the line here. This is from Jasmine. She sent this one in, and this is actually from Allerton. So in Vermilion County is where this one was set up. But you've got the lowering there a little bit. You've got some of the scud clouds that we can see, kind of the ragged bottom edge to those clouds. Another view of the lowering potentially there too. Not saying that this storm is going to go severe. However, the atmospheric conditions are there for there to be more in the way of some circulations and potentially funnel clouds, whether or not they become tornado warnings or not. So that storm that she was taking a picture of was in Vermilion County. So just you got those little cells there in Vermilion County. That's what we're looking at here. And so most of these storms, you got another kind of larger one there near Allerton Park, not Allerton, the town where this picture was taken. But you've got the big cell over there that's just going to be to the south of I-72, just between Cerro Gordo and Cisco. You got more in the way of some heavy downpours and storms across southern Macon County, so south side of Decatur, even kind of right by the lake, and going back towards the Moeco area. We still have our warning, though, till 2:30, so we have another 22 minutes left of that. And you'll notice, though, that we have more activity with our storms back off to our west. So this is what we're going to be looking out for in terms of what we can expect for maybe additional warnings to come from later on in the day. These storms coming into the western side of our viewing area might be an issue.
Yeah, just wanted to mention real quick, Jack. I got some messages. The sirens have not sounded in Coles County from what people are saying.
Okay.
And I think maybe the way to take that is, okay, the sirens haven't sounded. I'll say it's possible they could have at this point. Maybe you just didn't hear them.
Right.
But they may very well have not gone off. Another way where those outdoor warning sirens, maybe not the most reliable. You've got the app. If you got the WCI3 weather app, you got the tornado warning right away. Jack, you got that right.
Or even got, if you can come to me on camera, we even have, again, a great way to get alerts will be from your NOAA weather radio. Whether or not it's the Midland brand like this one or another one, those are also good because the outdoor warning sirens are not designed for you to hear them inside your home. They're designed to be heard outside. So if you especially live farther away from a siren, you're not going to hear it anyway. So these are going to be definitely good in the good to have in the house. So we'll go back to our radar. We've got our view here of our looping storms. I'm going to go back to our velocity and check out what it's doing with that. We still do have some spots there exhibiting some rotation. It's not exactly the greatest textbook look to our velocity, but it is still there. And so what I'll do once again is kind of put another track on things here just to make sure that people are in the know. And we'll take it back from the center of our warning here. Again, it's still moving around 25 miles an hour officially from the National Weather Service office. What might be happening, though, is, and Jacob said this a few minutes ago, is that it might be kind of speeding up a little bit. Typically, when it starts to speed up, that's when our tornado-warned storm becomes more of a wind threat, just a straight-lined wind threat, because the storm is accelerating. It's actually moving on over the ground faster, and as a result of that, you are tending to get more in the way of some straight-line wind events. That's typically how a storm morphs and how it becomes, how its evolution progresses. So we got Charleston 224 here, really more so the Ashmore area 241, Kansas 250, Borton at 259, and Brockton at 305. Should everything hold together this way, maybe even Paris as well. Keep a lookout here. Not necessarily for a potential tornado warning, but one that maybe the storm goes severe thunderstorm warning, and they still hold on to the warning there. The chief has also entered the building, so he will be talking through things as well. That being said, though, it's just the one warning. We don't have a ton of warnings here or there that we have to all cycle through. It's just this one warning. Everything else is just a bunch of storms right now. It's like I've been saying and Jacob's been saying too. We're still kind of eyeing those storms west of the Illinois River. Those could potentially pose a threat to us here later on this afternoon with more additional warnings potentially. But as of right now, it's just It's just storms. So I'll go back down to Coles County. Again, the warning goes until 2:30. Hail has never been an issue with this storm. It's always been very small. Some gusty winds for sure are possible with that, but I'm not seeing anything else here that would lead me to have any new additional information, unless you see something, Jacob, or want to talk about another storm that's out there.
Yeah, I've gotten a few pictures. I'll tell you what, this is what's going to happen, Jack. Now that the Chiefs walked in, these storms are going to...
Yep, nothing's going to happen now.
They're going to, we're settled in here, so that's what we're watching. I still think there's a little circulation to the east of Charleston, but at this point it looks like it's getting ready to exit that warning in Coles County. So we're going to find out rather quickly whether or not we get an extension of the warning or the warning's going to be canceled early. And if that happens, if it's canceled early, we go back to TV programming. We can get ready for things back here for what we need to take care of. But we still have that warning, and we're going to watch this closely. The hospital, the airport, Lerna, Lakeland College, we can give you the all clear here. Still, the city of Charleston points to the east, even out towards Ashmore and Kansas. At this point, I'd be watching pretty closely here. There's no extension of that warning, and I'm waiting to see if that happens here. We'll watch this storm as it continues to move off to the east at 25 miles an hour. As we look at it here, there's a little bit of what may be a bit of a notch trying in there, but it doesn't look nearly as good as it did before, as Jack's mentioned. And you'll notice here, those greens and reds, not quite as bright near Ashmore. Again, outside of that warning, I still think Charleston, give me a little more time here just to make sure that something in the south side here doesn't try and spin up until we get a clear understanding from the National Weather Service. But we're watching, they're typing some things and not really, there's not really any updates on that. They do, though, watch. Have it there. Let's see. They're continuing to monitor some of these other storms. Again, we talked about that Moweaqua storm. Jack, you got that picture from Allerton Park up in Monticello. Watching this little batch here down by Shelbyville. I think there's an outflow boundary that's sitting right in here.
That's about where that is.
Yeah. So maybe that Shelbyville storm, we'll have to watch it and make sure here. But as far as it goes with these storms, we'll find out pretty quick here. And I'm really waiting for them to put a text on there and let us know, hey, this is what our thoughts are. While we're doing that, I'd like to talk downstream. And let's talk downstream to Edgar County in particular. Not immediately likely at this point. There's no warning for you, but what do you do if you're downstream and you need a little extra time to go? Edgar County, if you're in a mobile home, you've got some time to think about where you're heading here. Be prepared to seek shelter. Of course, make sure your phone's plugged in and charged. That's important. In addition, arranging your safe place, making sure you don't have any groceries there or toilet paper or anything like that that takes time to clear it out. Clear it out now. In fact, in much of central Illinois, this time of year, to have that ready to go anytime anyways. And of course, don't think we'll worry about flashlights during the daytime here, but check your weather app. Of course, we're streaming our platforms there. So this is primarily for Edgar County downstream from that, if they get a new warning. And it looks like they just canceled.
It's all canceled. If you wouldn't mind coming up to me and, or at least just taking Max too, we've got some viewer photos and viewer video in like we've been showing. This one is a video from Nathan Ward in the Charleston area. We've been obviously talking about the tornado threat with this storm, but it's a slow mover. It's been having some very heavy rains with it. And here's a view of where he was in the area there at a playground. And I'm not sure if that's probably a street right there. It looks very straight. I don't think it's a little river or a creek. It could be, but if it is a road, there's a lot of water on it. So be sure to slow down here across many locations that we're going to see some of these storms across the area this afternoon, because they're going to be some very heavy rainmakers, and that's going to be an issue there with flooding and hydroplaning and things like that. There's our view from Charleston. A lot of wet pavement there, but it is all stopped raining, at least on our camera. So right now we have no warning. The warning has been canceled 15 minutes early. It was supposed to go until 2:30. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep an eye out for our storms in our weather center here. The chief is here, so we've got 3 of us. Jacob's going to go back to cooking, and we will get you back to our scheduled programming. And if any more warnings pop up, we'll let you know about it. Thank you once again. Check, check, check.
You want your camera on?
I'm going to, all right, guys, if you are still listening, this is on social media only now. Like I've been saying, we have no warnings as of right now, and what we are going to do is we have to get to work, so we're going to terminate the live stream, and if we get any more warnings, we'll hop back on and give you more information. This might not be the only warning of the day. There could be a few more of them, but we'll let you know. Appreciate everybody for watching. Stay safe out there, and we'll do this again if we have to in a little bit. Bye-bye.